When you're living life in survival mode, you might have given up on the idea of becoming rich or comfortable at least. But Dave Ramsey may beg to differ as he shares his thoughts and life story. This is The Financial Bridge, and for today's video, we will be sharing Dave Ramsey's 5 important rules in building wealth and having a healthy life, along with the story of how he went from being completely broke to becoming a self-made billionaire at the age of 26. But before we go on, please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe and click that bell button as well to stay updated for more of our personal investment and financing content. Now, we won't keep you waiting for too long. Let's begin. Dave Ramsey tied the knot with his wife 38 years ago. Despite the fact that they were naive and didn't go to marriage counseling beforehand, he thought of himself as a hell-raising, beer-drinking, hillbilly good salesman. He got into the real estate company full-time. He stopped doing the other thing and focused on it instead. The fact that both of his parents work in the real estate industry inspired him to believe that he could make a profit by selling this home quickly. That was before the days of cable television, by the way. So, he began to start in the real estate industry by buying cheap and quickly reselling homes. At the age 26, he had a real estate portfolio of around 4 million, a net worth of over just 1 million, and a taxable cash income of about $250,000 per year. He was having a good time, and within 90 days, he bought himself a Jaguar. Afterwards, he and his wife Sharon were getting their first taste of travel after years of living in the same place. To be fair, their honeymoon entailed little more than a trip to Florida. But before going, they asked themselves, what do rich people do? And learned that they traveled to Hawaii, so that's where they headed. They loved Hawaii just as much as everyone did because the water was so shockingly blue. They had a great time and enjoyed it very much. After returning home, they set their sights on another vacation back to Hawaii in 2 months. There are individuals who like to say that wealthy are all unhappy. But Dave Ramsey plainly says that monetary success is the key to happiness. The more money you have, the more of the same you will become. You will be much more miserable if you receive financial reward for your misery. If you're already feeling down and you suddenly come into some cash, your mood will just grow worse. The more money you have, the bigger of a jerk you are. If you're kind of have a genuine passion for helping others and you also happen to come into some money, congratulations! You've just become a philanthropist and you have the power to transform the entire neighborhoods and social groups. Having more money doesn't change who you are. If your marriage isn't good, it gets worse, as does any craziness in your family. Now everything is going swimmingly except for the fact that he did something incredibly foolish. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't cheat on someone. He didn't lie. He didn't commit fraud. He just did foolish things. How many of you have made a bad financial decision? Trouble with dishonesty? Since he was flipping the residences, he borrowed too much money, and since the major bank had been sold to a bank in another state, David Ramsey had to resort to using short-term notes with maturities of only 90 days. A man sees a 26-year-old owing $1 million on a 90-day notes and says, "Look down." He wasn't late on a single note, but they called all of them because, according to the contract he signed, they have the right to do that if they just swirled and squirreled around. He signed the document that legalized it, so it looks like he deserved what he got. He has $2 million due immediately, and it's all secured by real estate. But his second largest lender heard he was in danger and called another $800,000. For the following 2.5 years, he watched their possessions slowly but surely disappear. His income from one year to the next went from $250,000 to $6,000, so his tax liability changed by a factor of 4. He worked hard all year to make enough money to pay the bills. Money arguments and financial troubles are the leading causes of divorce in North America today. If you say you're going to do something and then don't follow through for 2.5 years, then that will truly be rock bottom. Sharon said he would have left if they had gotten a divorce, but he was stuck at home with a newborn and a toddler. Their marriage on the brink of collapse, and his dream shattered. They had no money and had to declare bankruptcy. He'll never forget being so terrified that he would stand in the shower with a stream of water drenching his face and just cry until he passed out from the heat. Healing doesn't happen instantly, does it? They weren't instantly victorious because it takes time. It's more of a splat when you land on your face, so he learned to deal with money in this way, implementing the 5 strategies that he'd like to share with everyone. These 5 tips are certain to work every time because they come straight from the mouth of the Almighty. For the first one, the most important thing is to start a budget. If you want to build a tower without considering the expense, Jesus warned against doing so. Unless, of course, you get halfway up and realize you can finish. At which point everyone watching you begins to laugh at you and point and say things like, "This man started to build and couldn't finish." Budgeting, as his buddy John Maxwell puts it, is people telling their money what to do, as opposed to people wondering where their money went. Zig Ziglar, a friend of Dave Ramsey, always said that if you don't aim at anything, you'll hit it every time. Nobody ever wins at something by chance. Success always requires some degree of deliberate effort. How did you manage to score an interview with a football player after the Super Bowl? You just won the Super Bowl. How did you do it? He got off the bus and all of a sudden it hit him. Winning is a deliberate process. A successful marriage requires effort from both partners. You have to put forth effort if you want to raise exceptional children. They've conditioned your children to reject their father out of fear and obey their mother out of love. It's not like winning the lottery or striking it rich is a fluke of a stroke of luck, but rather the result of a string of fortunate events. Just remember that you get back what you put into the world. Nothing he planned ever seems to mature the same. Nothing grows despite the sun and rain. How you handle financial matters on behalf of your employer will be reflected in the name of the company you work for. Second thing to do is pay off any outstanding debts. The debtor is the lender's slave. There is no positive debt in the Bible. Every single debt reference is a negative one. There's a curse on you when you read texts and nearly all of them are negative. There is a consistent theme throughout the Bible that anyone who takes on debt is a fool and a slave. The standard living in America equates to making $85,000 a year but still go hungry. So, one, you need to keep in mind that you have to stop caring what people think of you. You need to cut back on your spending. You don't need to buy things you don't need with cash. You don't have to please people you don't even care about. Instagram is killing you because you are constantly comparing your life to others, highlight reels, and assuming the former should be the latter. For this reason, David Ramsey and his wife have decided to cease all further borrowing. You are odd. You are right. Regular people can make ends meet. And if you don't have any bills to pay or money in the bank, well, that's just bizarre. As a result, you may decide to leave your current place of employment, whereas before you may have stayed because you needed the money. And so, Dave Ramsey also says that it requires an entirely new frame of mind. A gentleman from Average Car Payment America contacted him up and informed him that the current figure is $529 per month for 84 months. According to the National Automobile Dealers Association, the value of a nice Chevrolet pickup vehicle drops like a rock if you invest $529 in it. Like a rock, Chevy got that number from the 529 plan. And if you start saving for it when you're 30 and make regular contributions to a good growth stock mutual fund in a Roth IRA, you'll have nearly $5.6 million when you retire at 65. An automobile isn't necessary, but we hope you enjoy yours anyhow. That's the price you have to pay. We're not suggesting you give up your wonderful car. Just that perhaps you shouldn't have it. Perhaps a new perspective on the situation is required. Excitingly, the next one is to encourage healthy connections. Is it not true that your circle of friends shapes you? Do not believe the hype because bad company will ruin your morals. You know you're in the company of Eeyores if you hear phrases like, "The little man can't move ahead, we're just trapped," or, "I sincerely hope we can elect someone who will correct my lies." You'll end up like that person if you maintain relationships with him. In other words, if they tell you to take it easy, they really mean it. You can't motivate these people by sitting on the porch with a hound dog in the sun. You hang with these folks. They are doers that say, "Come on, sweetheart, let's leave this cave, find some prey, and bring it in. We've got stuff to do and people to see, so let's get to it." You're going to read the same books your closest friends read. Watch the same movies and Netflix series they watch. Use the same language they use. Pray the same prayers they pray. And give as much as they give. But if you hang out with those who don't, we're not saying you should be rude to others. On the contrary, we try to treat everyone with kindness and respect, regardless of their background or beliefs. This is especially true if they happen to be New Yorkers. Now, eagles don't flock, so if you want to gather the right friends, then you have to do it on purpose. In a 10-year period, your income will be within 10% of the average of your 10 closest friends' incomes, so choose your social circle with care. If you're thinking, I need some new friends, remember that you don't have to treat your current group of pals poorly in order to attract new ones. But if you're serious about sobriety, you shouldn't be stumbling around with a bunch of drunks. If you're looking to get in shape, you might want to join with a group of people who regularly consume foods that promote fitness. The next one of Dave Ramsey's important rules is to save money. According to the Bible, bread and oil can be found in the mansion of the wise, but the remainder of it says that a fool eats up everything he owns. You are a fool if you blow through every dime you earn. Keep your money in the bank as Grandma told you because it's going to rain. The final step follows naturally and you won't even have to think about it. God advises to give lavishly because He enjoys seeing people happy when they help others. Generous people not only have a better disposition, but they are also better listeners. People who are merely takers are familiar to them. People who have themselves under control are the ones who are generous to others. They are the ones who hold the door open and who can't help but notice your needs. If you take care of your own family first, you'll be in a far better position to help others. When you're no longer financially strapped, ladies and gentlemen, you can finally do some real good in the world. Because you made up your mind to undergo a metaphysical change by rejecting the culture's norms and instead adapting to the teachings of Christ through the renewing of your mind. You have already begun to experience the spiritual transformation God promised you. And those are Dave Ramsey's important rules on how to build and take good care of your wealth. Make sure to follow these steps and you'll be certain to achieve success in due time. Now, we thank you so much for watching. This is The Financial Bridge. And if you have any thoughts about what we just talked about today, then don't hesitate to share and comment them down below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on our next video.